Definitely like this video. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, mind your business, keep scrolling. Don't not like it because that's rude. Okay. Y'all, it's Mish. Today, I really want to talk about friendships and how they can like shape your life and make life easier, and honestly sometimes make life harder. But the like pros outweigh the cons. Like usually, the friendships make your life more easier than harder. So I just want to talk about like the 5 key essential friends that I feel like everyone should have. Starting with number 1, a friend who you just go out and have a good time with them always. That friend is so important because you can always really count on them to be the life of the party, like to bring the funness out of you and bring the energy up and just always like have a good time. Just someone who you know that when you call them, it's on. Like it's gonna be lit, you're gonna have a great time, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna smile, and you're just gonna have a really, really good night. They always bring out the fun in the group and they're really the life of the party. The only thing about that friend is it can really be draining. Like that's not really someone who you always want to hang out with like every single day. I mean, if you're that type of person, I'm sure you would like to have a friend like that around you all the time. But if you're like a regular person, sometimes you just want to chill and relax and not really be on 10 all the time. And that friend can be annoying, quite frankly. Like it can kind of get draining. Like everybody's not always in the mood for that every single day. And what I find is that the friends that are like that, they kind of tend to be a little selfish. Like they kind of think about themselves first instead of like everyone else. And I'm not saying like all the people who are like that, but in my experience, people that I know who are really like that are a little selfish, quite frankly. Second type of friend is like a sensitive or emotional friend who's like in touch with their feelings and wants to know how you are and wants to talk about how they are and all that good stuff. That friend is really, really good to have because I know me personally, I don't always like to talk about my feelings. Like I'm someone who like I feel what I feel and then it's like, okay, that's done. Let me move on and go on with my life. But having a friend who is big on like emotional support and emotional like health, it's good to have that friend because they kind of really help you sort your feelings out like within yourself, and they're always available to talk when you want to. And that is just a good quality to have in a friend. And I find that they kind of keep you emotionally regulated. Like, they remind you that you have feelings. Like I can be sometimes like emotionally detached, so I just go throughout my day and I don't really remember that I have feelings and remember to feel happy and remember to feel sad, remember to feel angry. I just kind of go throughout my day and whatever happens. But I feel like having a friend like that reminds you to feel how you feel. But that kind of friend can be annoying. Definitely can be annoying. Definitely can be emotionally draining. Like sometimes I don't always want to talk about my feelings. I don't always want to talk about like how this made me feel or what's going on in my life. Sometimes I don't always want to spill my heart out to you, and I think a lot of times a person like that kind of expects that all the time, and it's like, okay, listen, I don't want to feel right now. Just let me not feel. And it can sometimes bring the energy down. Like sometimes you just want to have like a great fun night, but that person just always feels the need to bring it down. Like, why are we talking about our feelings at the bowling alley? Like, why are we talking about our feelings in the go-kart ring? Like, come on, sis. Like, or bro, like, everything don't gotta be a pep talk or a TED talk. But I still think that friend is like really good to have. The next friend is someone who's older, like more kind of like a mentor, but y'all are actually friends. Like, that kind of person can really help you navigate through life, because they've probably been where you're at some point, and they got through it, and they are, you know, thriving now. Or even if they're not thriving, they still know how you feel. So they're like someone that you can talk to, get advice from. They usually tend to give really good advice. You can tell that they genuinely care about you. Like, even though it might not be someone that you like talk to every day, or that is like really heavy in your life, but you can tell that they really do care about you. They want to see you win. Like, they want to do what they can to help you. However, comma, a friend like that is usually always busy, which is annoying. Well, it's not annoying. It's like you have to understand that they're actually past the point of life that you're at, and so obviously they're gonna have more on their plate. So it's like, all right, you're busy, I get it, but it's frustrating sometimes. It's like, well, I wanted you for this, or I needed you to do this, or I wanted to ask you about this, but you were too busy. Like, I texted you the other day, you just texted me back 2 days later. Now what I wanted to talk about is gone. You know, it's kind of like, all right, sis, I'm trying to work with you, but I need you to work with me too. And I think that sometimes that type of friend can be condescending, not on purpose. It's definitely unintentional in my experience, but that type of person can be a little bit belittling. Like, okay, I've been through this. I know that you're gonna get over this. I know that you're going to get through this. But me right now being in it, of course, it feels like it's gonna be happening forever, and I don't see the end of the tunnel. So I need you to meet me where I'm at, okay? Like, don't talk to me as if, you know that I'm gonna get through it and I'm being over dramatic or whatever, you know? The next type of friend is someone who's like nothing like you. And I don't know if it might be shocking or what have you to whoever's watching, but I think to have a friend like that who y'all are totally different, it really opens your mind to how other people think. Like, it takes you out of yourself and into new experiences with different types of people who might not necessarily have the same views as you, or the same thoughts as you, the same ideas of you, the same way of doing things. And I think it really broadens your outlook on life in general. And it really stimulates your mind. Like, it really gets your mind going, wondering about how other people are, and it takes you out of yourself. The way you might look at something, they look at it in a totally different perspective. It might build, some of your character traits in yourself to have someone who looks at life differently, and vice versa. Like, you can be a character builder on them because they never even thought of it like this, because, blah, 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 XYZ. So that friendship is always really interesting. However, it definitely is easy for y'all to bump heads. It definitely is a friendship that is susceptible to a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of maybe disagreements, and a lot of just general head bumping. Like, I have a friend who, we're alike, but we think so differently, and we express ourselves differently. And it's always like, it's always like this, it's always like this. But we really love each other and care about each other and have been in each other's lives for a long time. However, it can get frustrating, and it can become a who's right competition. Like, it can become, well, your way of thinking is wrong because X, Y, and Z, and this is what I think, and this is better than how you think. But it still gives that, bouncing off of each other thing. And the last type of friend is, of course, a best friend. This is someone who kind of has all the different qualities of all the different types of friendships that you might have in your life. It's basically an all-around friend who knows you. It's an easy flowing, a fluid relationship. You don't really have to try hard for it. It's just someone who you naturally click with. They usually are consistent in your life. That is the thing that separates your best friend from, you know, the sensitive friend or the friend that's not really like you or whatever. Because your best friend, you know that they're gonna be there. Like, you know, y'all have been best friends for however long, and you know that they get you and you get them, and it's gonna be smooth flowing, no hiccups. I was having a hard time thinking of like negatives for best friendship, because it's your best friend. Like, it's supposed to be just smooth sailing. But the only things I can come up with really is, one, you can tend to rely on them I don't want to say too much, because it's your best friend that's supposed to be there for you always through whatever. However, I think that a lot of times we rely on our best friend for everything, when maybe you could have went to the mentor friend for that, or maybe you could have went to the emotional friend for that, or maybe you could have went to, you know, the friend who's not really like you for that. Like, maybe you don't have to pile on everything on your best friend just because they're your best friend, and you know they get you, and you know they're gonna know what to say, you know, the blah 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 blah, you know. So I think that can definitely be like an overwhelming relationship sometimes, especially if one best friend kind of needs you more than the other best friend, you know what I mean? Also, when a best friendship ends, it's the worst thing in the world. Like, your best friend, if you and your best friend have a falling out, you're in your bag. Like, you're in your bag. Like, you know, when you lose a friend, like the party friend, it's like, all right, I can get another one of those. You know, the emotional friend, I can get another one of those. Mental, I can get another one of those. But a best friend, you mean to tell me I lost my best friend? That's a hard one. That's hard, okay? That's definitely, I think, the biggest con of having a best friend, just because you come to rely on them so much, and they know everything about you, and they know your family, and they know your other friends, and they know your boyfriend, and they know your girlfriend, and they're such a big part of your life, and when they're not anymore, it's terrible. It's devastating. Fortunately, I've never really had, you know, a really huge falling out with a best friend. Of course, you know, best friendships can fade as you go through life, and you know, things change and you move, and you know, y'all grow apart or whatever. But I mean, when you actually have like a falling out and you lose your best friend, it's a hard one. But yeah, so I think that these 5 friendships are pretty like standard. Me personally, I could work on, you know, a couple of them. I'm definitely someone who has a lot of best friends who I go to for everything, but I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on, you know, building my relationships, okay? But, you know, do as I say, not as I do, okay? But, yeah, I definitely think that these 5 friendships are helpful to shape you as a person, and also helpful just to have like these different types of relationships in your life, and to be successful and mentally healthy and have a great time and expand your mind and give you advice and be a best friend. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope that you guys find these different types of friendships if you don't have them already. If you can think of any other like type of friend that you feel like is necessary in your life, definitely comment below. Definitely like this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, mind your business, keep scrolling. Don't not like it, because that's rude. Okay, see you guys.